Welcome, everybody, to another case study testimonial. Today, we've got John Koch, who is a lefty stud. I love my lefties as a former lefty, and he's going to tell you about his experience with the program. So, John, go ahead and first of all, could you tell everyone what level you play at right now and then where you're located?
So I'm a senior in high school and I'm located in New Jersey.
Awesome, perfect. And when did you start working with us in the program, and what was your velocity at that point?
So I started a couple months ago, mid-July, and I was hovering 84 sitting there.
Yep. So yeah, when we had joined the program, it was I usually do questions with the guys. I talked to all the families, and it was kind of been stuck. How long had you been like the low 80s to 84 mark?
About a year.
Okay. And how did that feel being stuck there? Was that something you were super pumped about, or how'd that feel being
No,
stuck?
definitely not. It felt like no matter what I did or like every time I went on the bump, just like bad results and never satisfied.
Yeah. And at that point, you were not committed, correct?
Correct.
So how much did that, hey, my velocity's not moving and I'm not committed. Like, how much did that hang over your head?
Definitely a lot. Part of the reason why I started this program is because I really felt like I needed to gain velocity and help me get into college.
Yep, love that. And we'll got a big reveal at the end here about that
hmm
situation. So, what had you been doing the previous year or years to try and add velocity?
So I did this one velocity camp over the fall and winter. It had a huge focus on like running and doing pull downs as hard as you can, doing a lot of plyos, and it wasn't like very individualized. It like got a lot of people injured and didn't really focus much on health.
Yeah. And did you know when you first got in there that it wasn't individualized?
Um, no, not really. And then like I showed up and there's over 100 people.
Yeah,
So
that's far. And then how many like coaches and instructors were there?
there is like four or five.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. So when you joined our program mid-July, what did you notice? Because I'm sure you've worked with pitching coaches on different teams, maybe other
hmm
instructors, that pitching program. What did you notice was the biggest difference from the past and what you've done and how we do things?
There's a couple of things. First off, you had like a big emphasis on being healthy and stuff. I had a lot of elbow injuries before working with you, and your main goal at the beginning was to get rid of that, help keep me healthy. And then also you focus a lot more on just the pitching aspect, but staying healthy, eating good food, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, which is all really important. And I never stressed it or took that serious enough.
Yeah. And so, in the last program, you're doing run and guns, pull downs, and everything else. I don't know
hmm
if they did any breakdowns or anything, but you've had some elbow issues in the past, and I remember looking at your video, and so there's some glaring things mechanically that we could work on. So, and that was one of the biggest things we talked about. Hey, if we're going to join this program, that's our focus. We don't want you getting hurt. And
hmm
honestly, and in talking with your dad, the focus was, hey, we're not even going to push velocity right out the get go because we need to, it's showcase time going into your senior year, not committed.
hmm
We just need to make sure he's healthy and clean things up so we can just showcase and not be hurt or anything like that. So you're not committed. Your velocity is not where you feel like it needs to be. And you've had
hmm
elbow issues. How much was that lingering over your head as well?
Definitely a lot. It was like I always thought, even if I am playing in college or continue, am I gonna have elbow injuries my whole life? And I was always thinking like that would suck and I would never get to my full potential.
Yeah, that's not a good
Yeah.
feeling to have lingering over your head. So when
hmm
you first started, did you feel any pain in your elbow?
Yeah, so I first started, it was right after a tournament. My elbow hurt a lot for like the next 3 days. And from there, I thought like I might even have to shut down that summer, which was like a scary thought. I couldn't play in front of coaches, and it probably meant I couldn't play in college.
Yeah. So that what was the timeline on that? When was that?
It was, yeah, so it was like middle of July,
Okay.
right in the middle of my travel season.
Yep. And so then it's 3 days go by where you've got that pain. You haven't even really dug into the program. So were you nervous to start the
hmm
program?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like if it like it might have been a waste of time if I'm injured and can't even really like do much.
No. And so what's been the experience with your elbow since then? With all of a sudden you're doing these new drills and
hmm
things that you haven't done before. Were you nervous to do them? Were you experiencing any pain? When your elbow started to feel a little bit better after those 3 days, tell me about that.
Yeah, so you introduced me to a lot of drills and like at first they all felt really weird, but it definitely helped my elbow, helped me be healthy. I remember the first bullpen I threw without any elbow pain. It was like a great feeling for me. And it wasn't even like it didn't feel like that big of a goal, but at the same time it really was. And um that was all from like getting my elbow farther behind from the drill you taught me. So, and then with that also came a little bit of velocity too, just from focus on health.
Yeah. So where were you? Take me back to when you had that first bullpen. Do you remember when it was, where you were, and like all the feelings and thoughts?
Yeah, so I was at my local high school with a couple friends. I was just trying one of the new drills you taught me, first time using it on the mound. And then I was like slowly ramping up, and then I got to 100% in the bullpen. And I was just like shocked how good I felt and like how much my body just like flowed with the pitches and it felt effortless.
Yeah. Was that like what do you remember what you were saying in your head? Like did you have any words that came to mind? Like
I was just like in awe pretty much.
that's awesome. Now, so you're in awe. Did you tell anyone? Like did you jump in for joy and say yippee or something and like text all your buddies and all your friends and be like yippee, look at me? Like what'd you do after the fact?
I just kind of kept it to myself. To be honest, like elbow pain I've had in the past, I like don't tell anyone because I'm scared I won't pitch or anything like that. But it was something I was able to say in the wins chat, which felt good.
That's awesome. What's been your experience with the Wins chat? So for guys that don't know, watching this, we've got kind of a group messaging platform where we've got a couple different channels. One of which is the Wins channel. So in the Wins channel in the chat, anytime there's a win, it doesn't matter if it's a good test score, a PR in the weight room, a 6 strikeout outing in 2 innings, or your arm just feels good. Like what's been your experience with that?
I think it's like very positive for everyone. It's like if I post something and then other people see it, it feels good like having them congratulate me. And then vice versa, when I see someone else do good, it makes me feel good for them and it pushes me to do better.
Yep, and that's the whole thought process behind it. So it's definitely a trying to be positive first. It's health first, and
hmm
that's part of that is mental. So as much as we can be positive, that's for sure. So what how and you talked about this a little bit. How do you feel like your mechanics are now? Because that was pretty early on in your bullpen. So it's been
hmm
gosh, it's already almost four. It's been 4 months, almost 3.5 months. So how do you feel like your mechanics are now?
I feel a lot better. I definitely have like a little bit more to work on, but they're a lot more smooth, a lot more effortless, like you say, and no more elbow pain, which is the big thing. So feels a
Yep.
lot better.
So first goal was no elbow pain. Second goal
hmm
was need to throw harder to be able to showcase. And so you
Yep.
were low 80s up touching 84 before. And
hmm
since then, what have you been able to hit?
I've been hitting 86 and my floor was around 84. So,
Yeah, so and I know in the wins channel you've had multiple times where you've been able to just sit at 86. So the first
yeah.
time you hit an 86, when was that? So you started mid-July. You hit it when?
hmm It was on September 1st. I was at a Bucknell showcase, which at the time was like a really big deal. All the, I think it was actually the hardest someone threw at the camp, which was pretty cool. The coach that I was talking to for a while too, so it like felt good to do that in front of him.
What does that mean?
And
Felt good.
like it just felt like all the hard work I put in from starting this finally paid off. And then I just like reflected on all the stuff I did to get here from starting the program.
That's awesome. And then you were able to hit it multiple times and multiple outings. So now you
Yeah.
go from basically a low 80s guy to
hmm
a mid 80s lefty, which then led you to, at the time of this recording, was it just yesterday?
2 days ago.
So 2 days ago, what happened? What'd you just post?
So I just committed to LaSalle University. It's a Division I program in Philadelphia.
So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, let's get on here because you've had the velocity. Now you've got the commitment. You're a lefty, which means you're just better than everybody else because righties are, love my righties, but lefties are just better. So I was really excited to get you on here because it's just been awesome to see it. And it's only been because the time frame from my elbow hurts for 3 days to hitting 86 with no elbow pain, effortless, was less than 6 weeks. So we're talking
hmm
2 miles per hour, less effort, and no pain, and a commitment, and you're showcasing, you're going D1, and you have literally like just begun. You're
hmm
only 3, 4 months into this thing, and we've still got, just in this first year, we've got another 8 months of in an entire off season. So I'm gonna say to everyone watching this that keep an eye out for John and make sure you're following him. So any last words of advice to someone who, they're just not sure about the program? They've seen some of the videos, they've seen my stuff online, and they're like, yeah, I know, I probably need to throw harder. Maybe I've got some elbow pain, but I'm just not sure. I'm kind of on the fence. What would you tell the person?
Um, there's no like perfect time to start or like reason to wait really. For me, I started in the middle of the season, which I know my dad was skeptical about, and I'm assuming a lot of other people would be too. But it's like as soon as I started, even though I was in the middle of a season and I like couldn't really tweak my mechanics that much, it still allowed me to focus on other things that helped with my control and staying more healthy. So yeah.
Love that, man. Is there anything else, any last words, parting words that you want to give to anyone? Any advice from, coming from a stud lefty who's now a D1 commit, and there's going to be guys that are older than you, younger than you, same age, watching this? Just any other advice?
Just work hard and really like try to control all aspects of the game on and off the field, from your sleep, working out, eating enough food, drinking enough water, because there's only so much you could do on the field, but if you get that all involved, you can become more complete.
That's awesome. I love that, man. That's why I started this program, was to take all of those things in there. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
hmm
If you are okay with people following you, let them know on what platform is best and then what your handle
Yeah,
is.
so my Instagram, I'm gonna pull up real quick, is John_Koch.08.
Perfect. So yeah, you guys can follow him up, follow his journey for the rest of this year. Obviously, he's going to show because that's what lefties do. Velocity's probably going to go up if I had to guess. And then when you're watching him play D1 ball the next handful of years and beyond, just keep tabs on him because I know I will be. And oh, it looks like someone's peeking out there. Oh, sorry, you see in the background?
My
That's
grandmother.
fantastic. Love that. All right, so for you guys that are watching, if your velocity is stuck somewhere between low 80s, like John's was, or even low 90s, that is kind of our sweet spot. And if you're in there and the radar gun, just the number is not moving on there, and you're doing things like hip and shoulder separation drills, weighted ball programs, running guns, you're spending hours on mobility, something we had talked about before this call started, and your just velocity's not going anywhere, you've been stuck for 6, 12, or more months, then go ahead, if you think this is a good fit for the program for you, to get more velocity, to get more health, more effortless velocity. There should be a link underneath this video somewhere in the description. There's a free no cost call, kind of call it a fit check, just to see if you're a good fit and if we can even help you. And then I will see you on that call, so you can tap that link. Otherwise, thanks for watching. You guys can check out other videos. Make sure you follow John and you're following what we're doing, and we'll talk to you later.